When Amanda laughed at the janitor mopping the marble floor, she had no idea he'd pull up beside her in a Rolls-Royce just hours later. It was one of those moments that seemed small and meaningless at the time, just a quick joke at someone's expense, a careless smirk in a busy hallway. Amanda, with her designer heels clicking sharply on the shiny floor, thought nothing of it. The janitor was just a janitor, someone invisible, someone beneath her. But life has a strange way of flipping the script when you least expect it. That quiet man with tired eyes and simple clothes was about to shatter every assumption Amanda had about success, wealth, and dignity. Who was he really, and why was Amanda's whole world about to change in ways she never imagined? Stay with me. I promise this story will surprise you. Amanda was the kind of woman who never missed a chance to remind everyone around her just how much better she thought she was. She worked at one of the city's most luxurious corporate offices, a place where the marble floors gleamed and the air smelled like money. Amanda wore expensive suits, designer heels, and a permanent look of superiority on her face. She was wealthy, yes, but more than that, she was entitled. She looked down on anyone who didn't fit into her world. The secretaries, the security guards, the lunch ladies, and especially the janitors. To Amanda, they were invisible. People who didn't have what it took, and Mr. Thomas was the janitor. A quiet man in his early 60s, with kind eyes and a gentle smile that never seemed to fade, no matter what Amanda said. His clothes were faded and worn, his hands rough from years of work, but he moved with a calm dignity that no uniform could take away. Amanda's co-workers tolerated her arrogance because of her family name and the connections she had. No one dared to speak up when she mocked the lower-wage staff. It was just how Amanda was. For years, Amanda had made it her habit to mock those she thought beneath her, especially Mr. Thomas. But the truth was, Mr. Thomas never fought back. He just smiled politely and kept doing his job. Little did Amanda know, her assumptions about him were about to be shattered in the most unexpected way. It was a typical busy morning at the office, and Amanda was already in one of her moods, impatient, sharp, and looking for something to mock. As she walked briskly down the hallway, balancing her coffee cup and phone, she made a small but deliberate move. Just as she passed Mr. Thomas, who was quietly mopping the marble floor near the entrance, Amanda pretended to lose her grip on the cup. Coffee spilled across the floor in a dark, sticky pool, and Amanda didn't even flinch. Instead, she smirked and snapped, loud enough for anyone nearby to hear, "Well, Mr. Janitor, looks like you've got a mess to clean up now. Maybe you should hurry up before someone slips." Mr. Thomas didn't flinch. He nodded politely and started grabbing his mop and bucket. Amanda crossed her arms, leaning casually against the wall, eyes gleaming with cruel satisfaction. "You're always so slow, aren't you?" she added, loud enough for the small crowd of employees gathering nearby. "How long does it take you to clean a little coffee? Maybe you should consider a new career, something less demanding, like sitting at home." The younger intern standing nearby shifted uncomfortably, glancing away. She bit her lip but said nothing. No one did. Mr. Thomas simply smiled, a small gentle smile, and replied calmly, "I'll take care of it right away, ma'am." Amanda laughed, a cold, sharp sound. "You know, janitors like you never amount to much. Just failures in life, scraping by on the bottom rung. Maybe if you worked harder or aimed higher you wouldn't be stuck here with a mop." There was an awkward silence. Some employees looked down at their phones, others exchanged uneasy glances, but no one spoke up. Mr. Thomas finished cleaning the spill, took a moment to adjust his cap, and continued with his work as if Amanda's words were nothing but passing noise. But inside the calmness of that man held something Amanda could never guess, a story, a strength, a life she never bothered to understand. At that moment, Amanda felt powerful, but little did she know, her arrogance was about to be humbled in the most extraordinary way. Most people at the office barely noticed Mr. Thomas beyond the occasional nod or polite smile. Amanda certainly didn't. To her he was invisible. Just the janitor, someone unimportant. But if she had looked a little closer, she might have seen the little clues that hinted at who he really was. One evening, as the sun was setting and most of the office had emptied, the receptionist's car wouldn't start. She was stranded in the parking lot, frustrated and unsure what to do. That's when Mr. Thomas quietly appeared beside her, offering a calm, steady hand. Without hesitation, he popped open the car hood and got to work, his movements confident and practiced. They chatted easily as he worked, and the receptionist mentioned how impressed she was. "He's just a janitor," she said to a co-worker later, shaking her head in disbelief. But Mr. Thomas talked like a man used to solving problems far beyond spilled coffee and dirty floors. Another time, the security guard was standing by the gate, chatting with Mr. Thomas during a break. Amanda happened to pass by, and overheard part of their conversation. Mr. Thomas was speaking about property values, mortgage rates, and market trends. His voice was calm, clear, and knowledgeable, nothing like the stereotype Amanda held of him. On his breaks, Mr. Thomas was often seen quietly reading financial newspapers, his eyes scanning the pages with interest and focus. Not once did Amanda stop to wonder why a janitor cared so much about stocks or investments. She was too busy being busy, too wrapped up in her own world to notice the man who walked past her every day, carrying more than just a mop. In Amanda's mind, Mr. Thomas was nothing but background noise. But the truth was, he was a man with a past, a man with stories Amanda would never imagine. And soon, those stories would come crashing into Amanda's perfect little world in the most unexpected way. Later that weekend, Amanda found herself at one of the city's most exclusive luxury car events downtown. It was the perfect place to show off, her designer dress shimmering under the evening lights, her perfectly styled hair, and the stories she casually dropped about her family's wealth. Amanda laughed with her friends, her voice loud and confident as she bragged about her lifestyle. "You know, it's not just about the money, it's about knowing the right people. That's how you get ahead." Her friends nodded, clearly impressed. Amanda loved moments like this, the attention, the admiration. It made her feel untouchable. But then, as the crowd buzzed with excitement over the latest models on display, a sleek black Rolls-Royce pulled up at the entrance. The engine's deep hum turned heads, and whispers spread through the crowd. Out stepped a man. Tall, graceful, dressed in a sharp, elegant tailored suit that looked like it belonged in a fashion magazine. He carried himself with an effortless confidence and calm that demanded respect. Amanda's smile faltered as her eyes locked on the man stepping out of the car. It was Mr. Thomas, the janitor from her office. Only now, he wasn't wearing faded clothes or carrying a mop. He was polished, dignified, and far from the man Amanda thought she knew. Her friends gasped, eyes wide with surprise. People around the event began to approach him, greeting him with warm handshakes and deep respect. They called him Mr. Carter, and the way they spoke made it clear he was someone important, someone powerful. Amanda stood frozen, confusion twisting inside her. How could this be the same quiet janitor she had mocked just days ago? The man she thought was slow, uneducated, and insignificant. "Mr. Carter," Mr. Thomas smiled gently as he spoke with the guests, his charm unmistakable. He even glanced briefly in Amanda's direction, a knowing look in his eyes that made her heart pound. She tried to find words, but none came. The confidence she wore like armor back at the office was nowhere to be found. Amanda's mind raced. Who was he really? What had she missed? The answer was simple. She had judged a book by its cover, and learned the hard way that appearances can be deceiving. That night, Amanda realized something she had never believed before. Respect isn't about wealth or status, it's about who you are beneath the surface. And Mr. Carter, once Mr. Thomas, had earned more respect in one evening than Amanda ever could, simply by being true to himself. The next day, Amanda couldn't stop thinking about the man she thought she knew, and the man she had just seen. She found herself back at the office, but this time, she looked at Mr. Thomas differently. When their paths crossed in the hallway, Amanda hesitated, then quietly asked, "Mr. Thomas, or should I say, Mr. Carter, would you mind talking for a moment?" He smiled gently, and nodded, leading her to a quiet corner. "I suppose you have questions," he said softly, his eyes kind but serious. He explained that yes, he was a retired real estate mogul, who had once owned several prominent buildings across the city, some even in the very neighborhood where the office stood. His company had been successful, well known, and respected. But after my wife passed away a few years ago, he continued, I chose to step back from the spotlight. It was a difficult time. I wanted to find a way to stay grounded, to remember what really matters. Amanda listened, surprised by how calm and humble he was. So I started volunteering here, part-time, as a janitor, he said. Cleaning, mopping floors, it might seem small, but it helps me feel connected. Connected to people, to life, to something real. He paused and looked at Amanda kindly. I've seen so many people rush through life, judging others by what they wear or what they own. But true respect comes from understanding and kindness, not from money or titles. Amanda felt her cheeks burn. She could barely meet his eyes. The woman who had mocked him, laughed at him, had been so wrong. I'm sorry, Amanda whispered, her voice trembling with a mix of shame and sincerity. I never stopped to think about how much my words and actions were hurting you. Thomas smiled once more, not a smile filled with bitterness or anger, but one full of genuine forgiveness and warmth. It's never too late to change, he said softly, his tone calm and kind. Every one of us carries stories, things that shape us. I'm truly glad that now, you're willing to listen. His words felt like a gentle bridge between their worlds, opening the door to understanding and healing. In that moment, Amanda realized how much she had missed before, not just about Mr. Thomas, but about people in general. For the first time, Amanda saw the man behind the mop, the strength, the humility and the quiet wisdom she had missed for so long. That moment stayed with Amanda long after it passed, a quiet, powerful reminder that sometimes, the greatest lessons come from the most unexpected places, and the most unlikely people. It wasn't just about Mr. Thomas anymore, it was about everything she had overlooked, all the kindness she had missed, and the walls she had built around herself for no good reason. And from that day forward, Amanda began to change, not just in the way she saw Mr. Thomas, but in how she looked at the world around her. She started noticing small acts of kindness, feeling empathy for others, and slowly letting go of the harsh judgments she had held for so long. It was a beginning, a new way of seeing and living that would shape the woman she was becoming. After her conversation with Mr. Thomas, Mr. Carter, Amanda felt like a storm had passed through her heart. She couldn't shake the image of the man in that sharp suit, the calm confidence that radiated from him, and the gentle wisdom in his words. Back at her apartment that night, memories flooded her mind, moments she'd tried to push away, but now felt sharp as ever. She saw herself laughing at Mr. Thomas when he spilled coffee, mocking his slow pace, calling him a failure in front of everyone. Each memory was like a sting, and a deep shame settled in her chest. She realized how blind she had been, how quick to judge without knowing, how cruel and small her world had been, wrapped up in wealth and status. She wondered how many other people she had hurt with her careless words and arrogance. The next day at work, Amanda decided she couldn't carry on the same way. She found Mr. Thomas quietly mopping near the elevators, and took a deep breath. Mr. Thomas, Amanda began, her voice shaking slightly, the words catching in her throat. I want to apologize for how I treated you. It was wrong, and I'm truly sorry. He paused his work and looked up at her, his eyes calm and warm. Then, with that same gentle forgiving smile she had come to admire, he nodded. We all learn at our own pace, he said softly, his voice full of kindness and understanding as if he knew just how hard it was for her to admit she had been wrong. His simple words and quiet grace made something inside Amanda shift. She felt a small weight lift from her chest, a little lightness she hadn't felt before. But deep down, she knew this apology was only the first step. Saying sorry wasn't enough. If she truly wanted to change, she needed to prove it, not just with words, but with her actions every single day. Over the next few weeks, Amanda began noticing things she'd never paid attention to before: the tired faces of the cleaning staff, the quiet struggles of the interns, the simple acts of kindness that went unnoticed. She started greeting people with genuine warmth, and listening without judgment. One weekend, Amanda took a big step. She volunteered at a local shelter, something she never imagined herself doing. At first, she was awkward, unsure of what to do or say. The work was hard, the hours long, and the stories she heard broke her heart. But with each passing hour, something inside her shifted. She saw the strength in people who had so little, the courage it took to survive every day. She felt a deep connection she'd never known. By the end of that weekend, Amanda felt changed, not just on the surface, but deep inside. She understood that real worth wasn't about designer dresses or fancy cars. It was about kindness, humility, and respect. She thought about Mr. Thomas, who had shown her all of this without saying much at all. He had taught her the most valuable lesson of all, that no matter where you come from, or what you own, we are all human, deserving of dignity and compassion. Amanda knew she wasn't perfect, not by a long shot. She still had a lot to figure out, a lot to make right. But for the very first time, she felt ready. Ready to be better, to try harder, to open her heart a little more each day. And sometimes, that's really all any of us needs, a chance. A chance to learn from our mistakes, to grow beyond our old selves, and to change in ways we never thought possible. It's not about being flawless, it's about having the courage to start again, to believe that even when we stumble, there's always hope waiting to guide us forward. Weeks passed, and the office buzzed with its usual rhythm. Amanda found herself thinking less about status, and more about people, especially Mr. Thomas. One quiet afternoon, as Amanda walked briskly down the polished hallway, she caught sight of him. Thomas, pushing his cleaning cart with his usual calm, steady pace. But this time, something inside her stirred. She didn't hold back or look away like before. "Good afternoon, Mr. Thomas," she said, her voice warm and sincere, a real smile lighting up her face for the first time in a long while. He looked up from his work, surprise flickering in his eyes, quickly replaced by a gentle, pleased smile. "Good afternoon, Amanda," he answered, his voice kind and steady as always. To Amanda's own surprise, Mr. Thomas stepped aside and held the door open for her. Then, with a soft sparkle in his eye, he asked, "Would you like a ride home today?" Her heart skipped a beat. She blinked, caught off guard by the unexpected offer. "I would," she said quietly, a mix of gratitude and a touch of nervousness washing over her. As they both settled into the plush, smooth leather seats of the Rolls-Royce, Amanda could feel the quiet hum of the engine beneath her, a comforting vibration. But more than that, there was a strange and wonderful peace settling deep inside her, a peaceful moment that felt like a fresh start, something gentle but full of promise. During the drive, they talked honestly about life, mistakes, and the lessons learned along the way. Amanda thanked him for showing her what real success looked like, not the flashy cars or fancy clothes, but kindness, humility, and respect. Mr. Thomas gave a slow, thoughtful nod, his eyes calm and steady as he spoke softly. "Kindness never costs a thing, Amanda. But believe me, it's worth more than all the gold in the world." His words hung in the air between them, gentle but powerful. Amanda looked out the window, watching the city glide past, the same streets she'd seen 1,000 times before, but today they seemed different, somehow brighter, filled with hope and new chances she'd never noticed until now. A quiet wave of realization washed over her. She wasn't the same woman who had laughed so carelessly at the janitor mopping the marble floor just weeks ago. That Amanda had been blind to so much, blind to people's stories, to kindness, to what truly matters. Now sitting beside Mr. Thomas in that smooth shining car, Amanda felt something shift inside her. She was different. Softer. More open, ready to live with a heart that saw beyond surface things, ready to be better and kinder. And in that moment, a warmth spread through her chest. For the very first time, Amanda felt truly rich, not because of money or status, but because she had found something far deeper, a new way to see the world and the people in it. It's easy to judge someone by their job title or what they wear. But sometimes, the most valuable people wear the simplest clothes. True success isn't measured by money or status, it's measured by kindness, humility, and the respect we show others. Thomas taught Amanda that real wealth comes from the heart, and that every person deserves dignity, no matter their role in life. Remember, compassion costs nothing but can change everything. If this story moved you, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that true worth isn't found in wealth, it's found in how we treat others.